So maybe they use the same things, you know, that they used during the MPLI and the early stages.
Can I just say, I feel like I'm getting attacked here. We're going into the drafting phase. GEEK Fam going up against Homeboys. GEEK Fam is first pick. Homeboys is second pick. 1-1 getting banned out by GEEK Fam. And for Homeboys, betting out Matilda.
Yep, Matilda, great counter to Poloisky, of course. Homeboys are in the red side, so they are the dedicated Nolan ban.
I'm sorry, I'm colorblind. I think both is red side.
I am also colorblind, so
I think I am too.
yeah. So it's red side versus red side. So who gets the first pick?
Okay, so my question for
Yeah.
Wolf. Now, Martis is very strong in Malaysia. So do you think this Martis ban is a meta ban, or is it specifically for Chibi?
Yeah, it's a so much of a target ban. I cannot remember a team in the Philippines and in Indonesia to actually second ban the Martis, unless of course they're facing up against like players with limited hero pool. And I don't think that this is like the best situation, but maybe, you know, GEEK Fam thought about the right idea to counter or at least neutralize Homeboys with this ban.
Well, speaking of Chibi and the bans upon this like magnificent player, I would say that it's not just the Mars that he's like playing really good, but also he managed to pull off the Hellcurt during the MPLMY,
that's true.
And also he have proved that Leomord can be effective at the finals.
Okay, okay, I'm an anchor, but let me be a bit of an analyst here by letting you guys know the way that Homeboys draft. They will always have a balance. One person has to dive, one person has to stay back. So if Chibi, as the jungler, is using a utility jungler, Sapat is going to dive. He's going to flank. If Sapat is being the front line, then Chibi
is gonna dive.
will be the one diving or flanking. So if they want to pick up a Hellcurt, then Sapat has to pick up something like a Terizla. If they want Sapat to use something like a Paquito, then we can see a Boxia, a Akai, something like that for Chibi.
It kind of feels like they're kind of compromising, not really compromising, but kind of relieving each other's jobs, basically. So it's job-based. Joy, Nolan, Arlott, they're all open. What will GEEK Fam prioritize? Nolan, obviously, is a strong choice.
Also, who else? I think also Joy has proven like that it's worthy in the previous game. But there's something really good about Team Homeboys, and that they do love the tanky or like the setup heroes.
I agree. That's why I kind of feel like GEEK Fam might just prioritize the Arlott, in fact. But instead, it is the Bruno.
Well, that is coming up as my second question, honestly. Homeboys has been doing well when Rizal is doing well. And one of his better heroes is the Bruno. And as you said, Wolf, on your first cast of the day, the difference between Bruno and Wanwa is that Bruno you can put in any kind of draft. And it works. See, I listen to what you're saying, you know? And it's really good. So now Homeboys, they have picked up this Joy. Now the Joy is, for me as a Malaysian, I'm slightly worried because they've shown that Sapat is willing to use the Joy in the EXP, but it did not do well.
And you know what? Thank you so much, Yasu, actually. I don't know why you had to give me this. You can actually just say it. Rises 91% in MPL MY. With the Bruno. So this is more of a deny pick.
They took it from him, They basically prevented him from using one of his most comfort heroes. But seeing the Joy coming in, I don't have anything but, or like I don't have anything to say but to wonder, why did they leave that much open in exchange for just Bruno?
Well,
oh no, legit. I kind of feel like playing the game myself, Bruno is one of those heroes where you don't have to think. Which improves your gameplay because you have time to think about everything else. And the thing is, when Bruno, a situation happens. Imagine a big fight around Turtle. No one is handling the lane at all. It's so easy for Bruno to take the objectives.
Exactly.
Bruno makes a snowball, feels like an avalanche.
I agree with that. And it's because of the criticals. I wonder why GEEK Fam just literally based on stats to pick up the Bruno first pick.
Do they have a good analyst?
Do
you think the analyst is like a good person?
I don't know what to think. I cannot think. I don't think.
You don't think?
I don't think.
So he doesn't think
no wonder they're not champions. All right.
The Grok. A very early Grok.
Not the hero I would be thinking of, but this is huge flashback. Huge flashback. The Grok was the reason why Zorn brought GEEK Fam as champions in MPL Malaysia Season 3.
Oh.
Before
Wow.
there's the M series,
Wow.
Zorn, during that time, no one cared about the Rome position.
Wow.
He used the Grok to grant them the championship.
Did he
Wow.
just open the book of history and went back all the way through until Season
Wow.
3?
MPL Season 3.
MPL Season
M1 hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
M1 started after Season 4.
Yeah, exactly.
But
It's not even so they represent Malaysian MSC?
See, this is why it's sad for Zorn. He has become champion in MPL Malaysia, but never on the season where you go to the world
Oh.
stage.
Yeah.
So
that's
he
sad.
became a champion when there's no such thing as a world stage.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like he got in the scene way too soon.
well, there's a question I would actually like to ask you, Wolf, because you are
Oh,
the...
and I feel like this Joy is going to the jungle because they banned out the Hilda.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm faster.
He's the anchor. I mean,
So,
this is his fault.
I'm that fast.
so would you actually think that we will see some flicks picks from Team Homeboys?
Yeah.
Like, let's say, for example, do you think that Grok will be used
Yeah, yeah.
anywhere except for the room?
XP maybe
Uh-huh.
because I feel that the idea here is and Lafel already painted this picture where you need a frontliner to go with
Yes.
Chibi. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
they're playing this Joy, for example, somebody has to man the front lines. And Grok is usually that kind of hero. It could be Flex, but of course, in the presence of the Arlot, which I think is a good pick, I'm not from Homeboys.
Yeah.
Now,
And it's still flex.
it still is Flex.
If this was the previous series, I would say it's flux.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
I'm
I would
sorry.
say it's Fire.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Alright.
Yeah. And I have to just balance that
Sure,
love, so
sure,
to make
sure,
it
for
fire
sure.
flux. Okay, so Team Geek here, as I said, they are really good at the early game, and they have good burst damage at the early game. They have they can snowball that Bruno, and also they have a really good output in terms of the Nolan and the
Yeah.
Lilia. So I think it's quite dangerous for Team Homeboys to have any risks coming up in the
Yeah.
early game.
Which kind of means that maybe you go Minotaur, perhaps, on Geek Fam, so you just snowball.
Oh,
Oh.
one
Okay.
of
The hunt
the
begins.
signature-
That's a Ruby.
Terizla, I guess.
Ruby?
Yeah.
Of course, the Baloyski special.
yeah,
Ruby.
the Beloyski's special.
Yeah.
Beloy Ruby. Rubeloy.
Rubaloy.
Rubeloy.
Rubeloy.
Rubeloy. All right.
Alright.
Great.
Nice.
It's very dangerous here, but do you think a Claude would suffice?
A Claude?
If not a Clint, because during MPLI, Rizel has shown that he is willing to use the Clint against the Bruno.
How about Anixia? Anixia. Because there's
Yeah,
not a lot
no.
of reach for
I mean,
Geek
like
Fam.
Nolan is still potentially very dangerous, but
That's true.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, because the thing with Claude is that you suffer from Body of Smith, and Ruby is also very tanky. You want to burst the Ruby and not like allow it to kind of ramp up.
And also, you,
So
you
it's a-
kind of need, you kind of need to take the Lilia down. You need to make her,
Yeah.
force her to use her black shoes. But that being, you just called for the Nixia,
Yeah,
and it happened.
I wonder why.
Hmm.
I was able to.
Is
pick up
he
You should
too
try
good
it for
at
a
what
team.
he's doing?
You should try
You
it for a
think?
team.
You think?
Yeah.
You think so?
I feel like you do have the potential. But speaking of potential, after seeing the drafts, Wolf, your initial impression for both teams, is it going to be more balanced or more one-sided?
Hmm.
Like, especially now since we see the numbers.
Phew, okay. I think it's balanced. Maybe the only hero that's kind of out of place is the Grok, but at the same, and I'm saying that because there's Lilia, right?
Yeah.
But Lilia is a problem for a roam Grok because of the amount of damage that it can output to the Grok, but obviously like there's Iksha that kind of forces Nolan to go back. I think Joy is still a pretty good hero. Despite the fact it's more late game, I would say, for the side of Homeboys, or early game for the side of Geek Fam. So, in general, I would say this is a quote-unquote balanced draft between two teams.
Well, both teams have done it all the way up until now. This is their moment to be or not to be better than great, or to be unable to compete with the best of the best. Team Homeboys goes up against Team Geek, and look at Zorn. He's just going to annoy Neil at the early game. He will take the retribution out. He didn't take that retribution out, but he might lose his life. That's too early. That's too early. That's too early. First blood for Team Geek, fam.
Hey, you know what? You did say Homeboys plays 4v5, so this should not bother them, right, Wolf?
Yeah, for sure. They did kind of force out some rotations from a boy, and the flicker was also expended. But they didn't stop the farm from Nail. And The only good thing here is that Chibi is uncontested. So the Joy having a great time in the early game, that's always a good sign.
So right now, honestly, the way that Homeboys is playing the game is really for Zorn to slow down everyone from Geek Fam, giving an advantage to Chibi, but right now Zorn.
Not having that flicker will punish him so hard. Zorn goes down, but he might just lose many bodies. Chibi manages to get that kill alongside with Warlord. The tie. Everything, it's 1-2-1.
Yep.
2-1. Oh, they tied the team fight, but not the score.
Yeah, but Chibi getting level 4 and getting a kill means that I believe that in the first turtle fight, he might be level 5. Nael, fortunately, though, 1-0-1. The fact that he didn't die, though, that's a massive escape coming out from Geek Fam.
Right now, honestly, it is going to see Homeboys, the way that they play throughout is controlling the river. They want to make sure they secure the turtles, the lords, and then translating all of those advantages to team fight victories on the side lane, and then eventually just dropping all of the turrets down. With this kind of setup, well, do you think that they can do it, especially now? Senpai at the top lane, it looks like he's struggling just a little bit.
He's running for his life, but oh, he just made it in time. Team Homeboys goes back, and they will lose.
Well, they
Sip
did
out for the turtle.
They did force out the final slash, but also the ultimate coming out from a boy. And I think that Sepat has a lower cooldown, but they weren't able to get into position for the fast turtle of Geek Fam.
Yeah, Zorn cannot just escape. His flicker being burned early is just punished so hard.
Right now, honestly, it looks like Homeboys, they have to slow down their pacing. Now, honestly, Wolf, is it fine for them to slow down, or is this a big detriment for them? Should this draft be working a little bit faster?
Homeboys, I think no. Geek Fam definitely yes, because they want to take advantage of their early game composition. I would say Homeboys, though, it's not about like speed. Obviously, they can scale the game. It's not about just the speed, but the fact that they have to take care of Ryzel. If Ryzel's flicker is always forced out, if he's not able to farm, then it wouldn't matter for Homeboys whether or not they have a better scaling.
I just like, even though Zorn is public enemy #1, whenever he TPs, I can hear the crowd wooing. Like, oh, it's TPing! What an amazing thing to do!
There are a significant amount of people who adore Zorn and kind of like what he's doing.
What about you, Yasu? You like what he's doing?
Actually, I have rooted for him to be one of the best, if not the best roamer in this tournament. But look here, we have Chibi melting down. Oh, what a really bad flicker. Punished out. Luke is out for Team Homeboys.
You can see in his head, he is trying to think, oh, Warlord!
What was that damage, Neil? What was that damage? But look at Bruno. Bruno is also bursting. Razel down. Double kill from Neil. He's just a Soul Reaper at this moment.
Oh my god. You know, Kyrie is a prodigy for sure, young prodigy. So is Krautizi. I think the next in line probably is Nael, if not Super Ken. And Nael just showed us how good he is, the mechanics. And of course, he also showed us how OP Nolan is. That hero is OP.
Oh, that hero is really strong. The only thing that's holding him back is just that people are trying to figure out how much damage he can output and then having the phobias. But now we see in M5, a lot of phobias are getting banned out.
The electrifying beast must be triggered by Chibi, but just in the time to do so. Peloyski is trying to find that opening, is trying to find his way through. A window can be created for Team Geek Fam by the final slash. And Zorn with a flicker ultimate manages to make everyone in a crowd control position. No one can move. When Zorn speaks, look at Chibi. He might get Peloyski, but he decides to go back. Luke goes back as well. No casualties, only a turtle is down for the side of Team Homeboys.
It's going to be really good for Homeboys, but they did give so much outer turret energy shields for Marquee. Maybe that's the only part where Geek Fam had an advantage, but man, Homeboys.
But this is part of the reason why we were talking about how Bruno was heavily prioritized by the teams, just because you leave Bruno for just a bit. And then he just way too much damage for the amount of levels that he has. It's so annoying. Like, if he's not there, it's actually a bigger problem that he's not there.
Right, in the early stages, right? Like, because it means if it's a 4v5 scenario, that means
you're
that
losing somewhere.
Exactly, no Chibi.
You might also lose your life here, but he managed to make a hook. Look at the Beloyski. He managed to make Nail escape. And Zorn is actually now in his comfort zone. Recalling likes, that's Zorn.
No, here's the thing. If he has the wild charge, he's more confident. Because even if he doesn't have the flicker, he can just bowl those away.
How great is this? He's facing Geek Family's former organization. He pops the well played bro sticker.
No. Do it the Zorn way.
Well played, bro.
Exactly.
It's great. And
You're
I think
great.
he is the only one that can
You are
actually do
better
it.
than great.
You are better than great.
Thank you, thank you. I hope my mom hears that. Anyways, Rizal now down in the bottom lane. Homeboys, they're losing, but not by much. Only the difference is like 500 gold.
I have a question for you, Wolf. What can make everything turn around for the side of Team Geek Pack? But before we answer that question, let's see Chibi melting down 8-Boy, making him use his black shoes. What can Geek Fam bring up to the table?
Lord Dance. I think if we lead up to 8 minutes where Geek Fam has a lot of farm and Marky, he gets the first Lord Dance, they win it, they take over. And then afterwards, Lord number 2, he has the Wind of Nature already. There's not much that Homeboys can do. So, yeah, it's the Lord Dance timing that we're looking for.
Yeah, after melting Chibi down, they know that there's no contestant whatsoever. Zorn is being hooked to the back line using his ultimate. Look at the belt, he's on with the flicker. They are committed to take Zorn down. The Zorn way, flicker, ultimates, recall.
What is Zorn thing to do?
Yeah, that's our
He
thing.
could have survived.
What do you call recalling in what do you because I know that in Indonesia they call it like tas. In the Philippines like TP. So what?
Same as Indonesia. Tas.
Tas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we just say recall.
Recall.
We don't say TP that much, honestly.
Yeah.
In Malaysia, we don't
it's
say
a very
TP.
Filipino thing actually.
Anyways, going back into this game, I was talking about the goal lead wasn't that far, but now it's 1.3k goal lead for Geek Fam. Especially now that they have the Bruno, should they be start to moving together to make sure that they can basically grab all of the neutral objectives? Because right now, even though it's 7 minutes into the game, no team has gotten a turret just yet.
Yep. Okay, so to answer your question, yes, Lord Dance should be the next priority for Geek Fam. And like I said, first Lord Dance, they will not have the Wind of Nature, but they will get it the second time. And it is their way to kind of match up against Rizal. Maybe another big item that they're looking for is the third item for Nael, because that means that they can burst down the member. Oh!
Uses that immortality really clever.
Yeah, right now Zorn is opening the map, giving vision for Homeboys, but at this point of the game, it is very dangerous for Zorn to be honestly showing his face, even though he does have the wall charge, but what are you going to use it for? Because you're just giving space for Rizal, but Rizal looks like he's not there yet. He's not really able to 1v5 the team just yet.
Yeah. It will be a big ticket combo later on with the charge plus the ultimate of the Ixia. Then you mix in the ultimate from coming up with Chibi. The fact that they have the Fire Mist to go with it, it allows Rizal to kind of be aggressive in that regard.
I do want to see Warlord being aggressive because this is one of his signature heroes in MPL Malaysia, but lately he hasn't really been all that commanding just yet. It looks like he's being a little bit more passive.
He's actually he's taking so much risk. If you look at Warlord, he actually reveals the bush himself. And Zorn right now with the nice ultimate, but what can he save? Nothing actually. And Sipat comes from the back line. Final slash finds its place. Chibi. And Beloyski's trying to escape. Chibi finds him in the back line. Look at Nails trying to escape, and he does escape. Look at the ultimate flicker penalty zone committed, and Chibi is just out. Luke is here. No one have to be worried. Geek Fam gets back on top.
Great play coming out from Geek Fam actually for the counter. I would say the Homeboys, nice jump coming out from Sepat, but that kind of, that was an overextension coming out from Chibi. Surely he did take out Baloy, but Baloy is just a roamer. Not much value in that kill, and then he gets taken out. Now the Lord going to be controlled by Geek Fam.
Yeah, knowing that Chibi cannot be here, they have to take their chances on that Retribution battle. But look who's gonna get it. Who's gonna get it? There's so much time for the Nolan to get it. And Zorn right now, he doesn't have a flicker. He goes down, Marky with that damage. And Sipa cannot do anything but to dash around. He has to only dash around. Double kill. There's also a triple kill. A triple kill is here. He will survive. No way. Rizal finds his place, finds his position, and finds that kill shut down for
God,
Team
Baloy.
Homeboys. What a magnificent team fight.
Let me just say, Wolf, what is Baloy on? Is it just because he's in the Philippines? Usually we see the KDA reverse like 0-7 and perhaps 2, but this is 0-2 and 7. Beloyski is stepping up.
Chicken Joy buff.
The what?
Chicken Joy buff.
Chicken Joy buff?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh!
Look at it. Okay, so you will only see what he did to
Yes.
save Nael as a very simple thing. He he stunned the
I
Joy.
would say the entire game he's been saving a lot of his teammates.
Exactly. But that stun and the Joy is so important because it means that you cannot refresh your dash. So there's a little bit of timing to go with it. You don't just mindlessly stun the Joy. Because the Joy has CC immunity, it can refresh the dash. Even the Ruby can be used as a dash refresher, right?
Oh,
so that was very smart from Baloy.
Baloyski finds Chibi, but Chibi now is dancing around, electrifying beats. But here comes Zorn, and here goes Luke. Will Luke go away? He's going away, but just in a really slow matter of time until Luke goes down. Sapat uses his flicker, and Nail is just waiting until everyone is in the back line. Everyone is injured in the back line. He finds Zorn, and Zorn is out. He finds Zorn, and he also finds the other team players. Chibi is also out. Chibi is also out. A double kill is here by PSC. We might see a triple kill, but Nail goes down for Sapat. Sapat doesn't have a flicker, and he now goes down as well. Team Homeboys are facing a trouble. They are now facing the rage of Team GEEK fam. Oh, they are still facing the rage. They are still facing the rage. Oh, he will find him. He will find him. He just have to look right. He have to get this wipe out for Team GEEK fam.
I just gotta say, Warlord has to find a way to reset because throughout this entire match, honestly, the NetherRealm hasn't really been helping out the team because he's always uses it at a very wrong timing and on the wrong people.
And I gotta say, Nail is actually super duper aware of that happening because he actually isolated the guy that's not in the zone of the NetherRealm, then he takes him out.
Oh, Zorn might be the one who is out. He will be getting out of that or not. It's so hard to go out of it. And again, what was that NetherRealm?
Like I said, man, this is Warlord's signature hero, but ever since MPLI, it looks like, I don't know, is something lost in translation within the communication? Because it doesn't look like he's in that great of a shape just yet.
Oh my.
That's quite confusing, Wolf. What do you got to say about that?
There's no way to explain it. I think after the flicker, that was already GEEK fam like very happy because they know that the Grok, I mean, damage dealer doesn't have the flicker.
Grok might go away. Luke is here, and no one have used anything except for that hook and except for that Ruby, the signature hero, as you guys said, the Baloyski special. He is the one who's tasting the most out of it. Zorn is out again and again and again without any trouble to have whatsoever for Team GEEK fam. Team GEEK fam now are just taking that Lord safely. Sapat is here, maybe Chibi will try to get a steal, but it's too early to go inside the turtle area. Sapat in the back line. Marky is trying to deal a lot of damage, and he does deal a lot of damage. Team GEEK just dominated that Lord area.
Yeah, and again, it looks like Homeboys, they're a little bit unsure what they're going to do because I feel like Rizal is doing something else. Chibi is doing something else. And I feel like Warlord, he was thinking whether he wants to use the NetherRealm or not.
Oh, Chibi finds Nail after he wanted to try to go for an extra purple buff.
That's the thing with the Joy versus Nolan. In the latter portions of the game, it's Joy that has the advantage. Big miss. Big mistake, I would say. They did take out the Lord, but losing Nail in this push, that means that they might not be able to use the Lord. And I say that because it's Homeboys having the Ixia as well as the Faramis. So they have a lot of wave clear. Without, if it's a -1 situation, GEEK fam is not in a good spot. Fortunately for him, it's still just 14 minutes into the game. He will respawn in time. And look at the lane management camera from GEEK fam. They're not pushing anything. They're even actually leaving the bottom lane.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying for a different approach to potentially get inside the base of Homeboys. Now, I kind of feel like I agree with what you're saying. The wave clear is there for Homeboys, but I kind of feel like, Baloyski using the conceal, making sure that Rizal goes back into the base.
Rizal needs to find the perfect position just to make this defense work out, but from the back line comes Chibi, and Chibi is looking for Marky. Marky knows that Chibi is looking for him, and Baloyski knows exactly the same thing. Look at Zorn! Look at Rizal as well, but look also at Luke. They are all now doing more damage than anyone can take. Luke falls down, and there was a massacre. 4 people or 4 players are down. Only Marky is still standing tall. 1 inhibitor turret and a lot of casualties.
With 4 members of GEEK fam falling down, I would say it was successful defense coming in from Homeboys, but we're going to look at an instant replay here, Wolf.
I think what you need to look at for this defense was the positioning and the timing out for Ryzel. Ryzel popped his ultimate when there's nobody else that can reach him. And there's the Faramis plus Ixia combo that's very, very scary, as we've seen. And obviously, the second final slash of that team fight, Sepat was pretty much on point, takes out Nael. And that means that that will be great defense from Homeboys. In fact, that's actually so good that they might have taken the tempo of the game just because of one clash.
Yeah, and now, okay, so we can definitely see the potential for Homeboys to protect the base, and now that the Joy is doing a significant amount of damage, GEEK fam cannot feel comfortable trying to end the game. And we can definitely see this by the movement coming in from Marky, where he's not forcing his position. If he doesn't have to be in front, he will kite back. So this is good coming in from Marky, and I feel like Homeboys should take note. It's not going to be easy to take down this Bruno.
How about that?
How about what?
Coming out from Baloisky. I think it was, great.
Catching Joy is not the easiest thing in the world. I tried. It's like trying to catch a fly.
Yeah. And that fly is Chibi at this point.
Oh, conceal here from the side of Team Homeboys. They are trying to find any opening. Anything right now would be the fit time, I would say, to do something risky. But Team Homeboys just falls back again.
Yeah, and I gotta say, this Grok has not been paying dividends for Homeboys. It's definitely, like you said, Wu, before the draft started, probably the only not so great pick so far.
It's kind of out of place. That's what I'm, I think about it. So, GEEK fam are holding the Lord with Marky. Where is Nael? Into this rock or the bush.
Now they are dancing with the Lord. I would actually say that they are dancing with the odds as well.
But Baloy able to get into the L bush.
No one sees him so far. No one saw him so far. Oh my god, no one saw him so far. Now he goes, and now he takes a bat to the backline. But Warlord is activating that Nether Realm, and the burst damage coming from E-Boy. E-Boy trying to take Sapat down. Sapat is just one touch away, and the wild charge happening here. Razel manages to make that shutdown possible on Marky. Marky falls after a long time. The Lord and the odds go for the side of Team Homeboys.
Well, was that worth it? Like, they expended a lot, but they got Marky.
I think that was worth it for Homeboys for sure, because now they can manage their lanes. Fortunately for GEEK fam, that's a win-win scenario where they have managed to maintain the flow of the minions up top. And that means that even after Marky's death, they can still fight.
GP used his electrifying piece just too early. Will he be able to make it through? Will he be able to go to the Lord? Or will Nail be able to take it with the Retribution? He does! He does take that Lord, and he also manages to get a kill over to Team GEEK fam. Homeboys,
the crossover
on to the back lines. They are just crumbling down. Zorn is having fun with Luke at this moment, and Chibi is trying to find anything at the back line. Luke is just a matter of time until he falls down, and down he goes.
I would say, man, it's been a while watching Assassins going up against Assassins.
I know.
I love this 1v1. I mean, sure, everyone else was around, but let's be real.
Let's be real. Come on.
It was a tango.
It was nice to see. A breath of fresh air. I haven't seen that in a very long time, and I'm very happy about that. Homeboys taking out Luke, and also taking out Marky earlier on means that they will not be will be able to defend. GEEK fam, however, they managed to equalize. 19 minutes in, we go for another refresh.
Yeah, and speaking of refresh, I gotta say, while we have the time, I don't care about the KDA, but Luke has been performing phenomenally.
I agree.
A lot of his ults actually hit the right target. We even saw once he was able to catch Chibi that he was unable to dash out of. Real-time win rate right now, it is for GEEK fam. And I gotta say, it's something that Homeboys has to micromanage so many things. The way that Luke has been engaging, the way that Baloisky, in my personal opinion, counter-engaging. They're just waiting for Homeboys to be out of position, and then he just catches them.
Yeah, yet I have that feeling that Team Homeboys will come back once again. Zorn right now, he might use his wild charge, but it's just too late to use that wild charge. Baloisky is trying to deal, trying to make some crowd control to prevent Sapat from going back, and Team Homeboys manages to go back even though there was a lot of slowdown. What does it take for Team Homeboys to come back to the game war?
But before that, yeah, so Habibi, let me tell you, there's this thing called the Caster Curse. The moment you say Homeboys could come back, Zorn just ulted into nothing. So
well,
as commentators,
no. I will not let you drag me into your curse.
just
right?
let's just not talk. The more we say nice about something, the better it gets.
Yeah.
Well, be neutral. Thank you very much.
All right. You know, in order for me to be neutral, I'm gonna say that I kind of feel like Homeboys actually might have the better situation right now.
Come on.
No, I'm not. I'm serious because
Got
it's.
it.
I mean, like you would have to spend your ultimate, your penalty zone, for example, onto Ryzel. So that's already a designated job for Luke. At the same time, they have to take care of Chibi. And even as good as Baloyski was landing all of the shots with a Don't Run Wolf King, it will expire eventually. And there's still the Faramis ultimate. So what I'm trying to say here is that late game is quote-unquote easier for Homeboys to execute.
Oh, so he does agree with me.
I would say in this kind of situation, the key player is definitely Ryzel. If Geek Fam gets Ryzel, it's basically over for Homeboys.
Yeah.
Oh.
That-
but
yeah,
if
that's
Ryzel
true.
made the good setup with Zorn, Team Homeboys will be the one taking it home.
Yep.
Either way, eyes on Ryzel.
Yep. Eyes on Ryzel. Eyes on Luke, actually.
No,
And-
look on eyes.
Look on eyes, eyes
Look.
on Ryzel, Ryzel on eyes. Better
Eyes
than
look.
great. Yeah, dare to be great, or to be better, or what? I don't know.
Oh, look at Zorn taking so much damage.
Oh, Zorn.
This is the Lilia problem that they have to face, but they did force out.
Oh, nail.
Yeah, on the back lines.
You have to just point out that Grok is weak against that magical damage. Grok right now uses the wild charge, but look at the back lines, finds the best targets possible. GB manages to take that Lord
nice
down.
down.
He's now dancing with Nail. He's now taking him down. Luke also will go down. It's just a matter of time until Homeboys come back again to this game. Recall after recall. Luke, it's again a matter of time. There's no way you can go and survive this. E-Boy is now trying to get Razor by
What?
Razor.
What?
Oh
Why are
my
they
god.
fighting? What?
Oh my god.
Why are they
Zorn,
fighting?
Zorn. Will he escape? It's impossible. It is
hello?
impossible. Hey, Team Homeboys lose the Lord. But they win the Lord, but they lose that team fight.
Why are they fighting?
I don't
I have
know.
no idea.
What? You should defend Geek Fam. Oh my god.
Black shoes,
Ahoy.
really
Stop
fast.
teaming!
Oh my god,
What is
Chibi,
happening?
what is this damage?
Hey, don't question it, okay? You're just an analyst. You don't know anything. Don't question it. They're players.
They're actually players, yeah.
They have the heart of a champion. And what does champions do?
What?
They fight.
They fight.
Okay.
They do other things, but fight is one of them.
That's right. But that was massive for Homeboys. Like I said, they have the easier late game, I would say. The fact that they're fighting, though, that's actually weird to me, especially after winning the Lord. That means that Homeboys will not be able to utilize their Lord.
Yeah.
How many Lords
Yeah.
have been wasted so far? Three?
Let's
Three,
see.
right?
Ichni, San, 3.
Three, Sun. Okay. So no one have got any benefit from that Lord. So I think at this moment they should just focus on the team fight, right?
Yeah.
Personally, for me, the later the game goes, kills matter more just because of the
yeah,
that's
the
right.
cooldown.
the respawn timer. It's so long at that point. Even if the opponent gets the Lord, who cares?
Yeah.
Just kill them.
Okay, so now we can see the real strength of Homeboy's composition, that that was already a good play coming out from Geek Fam, the pinch that we saw coming out from Nail. But he looked for the Grok first, which was interesting, and then the Grok got away after the immortality.
Personally, for me, I feel like it's just because he was just there. Might as well just kill him, right?
Yeah, that's true. However, what happened was during the red tree duel, what happened was Nael got stunned up. That's why Chibi got the retribution easily. And that's because of the Lord stun and also the wild charge being it wasn't
no.
available that time,
Yeah.
but the knockup was important. But the wild charge allowed Homeboys to stop Nael for a while and force him to just walk and make the beeline towards the Lord. So what I'm trying to say here is that they forced Nael to be very low in that situation when it comes to HP.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going into the 25th minute of the game where at this point the goal lead does not matter. It is all about the positioning around the map. How are you going to set up for these fights? How are you going to set up for the kills? So for Homeboys as well as Geek Fam, jungle control, lane control, river control, it's going to be a big point. And Zorn just stole the buff, and you know what? That's worth a recall.
Yeah, that's where they go.
Yeah, I think that the mental games also at some point matter. Look at Beloyski. He might be in the wrong position. He is at the wrong position, but he manages to flicker out of there. Zorn still have his wild... No, he doesn't have his wild shot, but he still have his flicker. He might make a good setup. Just, let's say, few seconds, and everything will Clash.
I feel like it's worth it to talk about that Baloyski does not have his flicker as well, so when he's using I'm Offended, it's not going to be dragging the team out that far away.
Oh, Homeboys know where Nail is. And the only bad thing about the Stolen actually is you leave tracks behind when you're dashing.
So you kind of know where he's
You
at.
kind of know where he's at, you know?
A reverse Natalia. So now, Homeboys as well as Geek Fam, this is waiting for a trigger finger. Who wants to engage first? Usually, those that engage first loses, but somebody goes in.
Oh, look, right now he's final slashed away from his teammates, but he manages to find his way back. The Lord is still 22k away from being took from one of these sides. Geek Fam still keep on dancing with the Lord, dancing with their odds, and it's so far they do look nice. Look at, oh, wild charge. He manages to give some time for Chibi to take down the Lord. The Lord is down. Look at the Nether Realm in the back line. He manages to get his teammates once back on their feet. Team Homeboys right now are trying to escape, but Marky wouldn't let that happen. The double kill is there, and Marky takes Warlord down. Again, 3 are down from Team Geek Fam. Is it a finish? And they use it to its limit. They don't believe in mercy. They haven't showed one. They made Team Geek Fan knows pain.
Homeboys takes the first game in this best-of-3 series. And I gotta say, it was a well-drawn-out fight, Wolf.
Yeah, my goodness. You can see what Zorn did going up against the entire Team Geek Fam. That was a wonderful jump onto the backlines where he's able to catch both Marky as well as Nael. And it's not just about knocking him down, it's like delaying the red tree holder from Geek Fam to get into the position. And then it was well coordinated because Luke tried to go for the backlines, and it was an exchange of initiators, but at the same time, there's still a lot of stuns available in the box that Homeboys was able to create, and because of that, they won that red tree battle, and the L was eventually fished out, and you can see that there's a lot of strength in the late game composition of Homeboys.
I gotta say, big shout-outs for Chibi as well as Rizel. They performed phenomenally. The fact that Rizel was able to survive a lot of fights is amazing, but Chibi as well, he has to dive in.
Yeah.
And he survived. And again, Rizel had to go up against Nolan.
Yeah.
And he survived.
Yeah, it's mainly because of the Faramis ultimate as well that was available for the side of Homeboys that we were kind of questioning in the early stages of the game, but eventually in the late game, when used properly, it's looking good. All they had to do was to really just to protect the Ixia.
And with that being said, we got to look at the MVP for this game, and I have 2 votes in. The MVP is going to be Chibi with the joy. And again, well deserved. Even though he got caught quite a few times, he was still able to dance away.
Yeah, that's the strength of the joy. Late game is the dance floor, quote unquote, the proverbial dance floor for Chibi as the joy, because you know that you can be a big problem. And actually, the 4 deaths that he had was only in the early stages. Come the late game, he's literally untouched. The strength of the Blood Wings as well in this particular game, pretty good, because that means that if you dive the marksman, the Bruno, eventually you will not have any problem at all because you're very tanky. Early game though, it was entirely Geek Fam. We can see that Aboy was very strong, but then again, that's the strength of the lineup of Geek Fam. If they win the early stage, it's far too easy. And Luke was on point. Everybody was just hitting their shots well. But in the end, it's the late game. I would say. Oh, watch out for Baloyski. The way, it wasn't shown, but he was able to protect his teammate. Nael threading the needle, finding the good target. So up until 13 minutes into this game, everything that Geek Fam is doing was correct. But Homeboys, they had a dog in them, you know. They had a the defense. I never say die attitude, you know.
Yeah, but either way, thank you very much to Grab Unlimited for this highlight, because We're spoiled for choice. A lot of things happen in this game.
It was a turning point, I think.
And actually, one of those things that happened was Zorn falling down so many times at the early game that he was almost like a minion in terms of like getting a kill or a pun.
Yep. This was the weird fight where they still went in for the fight.
You know what's funny about that?
What?
There was an interview before about Sasa's opinion about Zorn, and he did say that Zorn is a minion.
Zorn's a minion.
What?
Yeah.
Oh. Look at that. A Warlord with that flicker play to kill Valoy. That was actually the MVP move. And even after dying, it's okay because he has the passive anyways. And Luke was so far from his teammates. And it's not because of his positioning, but the fact that the Lord Pit was there. There was a big wall that after his initiation, he cannot come back because that's the weakness of the Terizla. When you go in, you're full committal. You don't necessarily have the dash to get out. And he wasn't able to reconnect with his teammates just because of that Lord Pit wall.
I don't know if this is the longest game so far in the M5, but as I said earlier, and I will repeat it again until maybe some people will get bored of it, in the late game, it just takes one mistake. And that mistake has been done by Team GEEK when they lost 3 of their members and they relied on that defense on, let's say, yeah, they do have the damage Marky and Nail, but you had, I think it was 4 against 2, so it was an unfair match. Team Homeboys used one mistake to take the game back.
I mean, this becomes the question, right? Was it a mistake or was it an outplay? Because we always look at this situation because some teams, yes, they do make a mistake by overextending, by missing their skill shots and stuff like that. But sometimes, if the opponents are the one forcing out those mistakes, isn't that technically an outplay?
Yeah, that's technically an outplay. Yeah, I would say like maybe 60% outplay, 40% was a little bit of a mistake, considerably from the side of GEEK Fam. Especially the formation of the team fights that they did in the past 2 Lords, where Chibi was able to get it, because they didn't like pave a runway for Niall to actually get in there and win the fight. And also Luke was doing his job, going to the backlines, but then again, they're outside of the box, right? So the box of influence of GEEK Fam is pretty small because of their assassin-based lineup. And once you go out of that box, there's no one to help you out. So even when Luke is doing the right thing, going for Rizal, there wasn't any follow-up. So all Luke is doing is just attracting the attention of one hero.
So he's just saying, look at me.
Literally, just look at me. Right.
So he hit the right target, but not at the right time.
That, simply put, yes. Yes. So that was the mistake part of it. The good outplay part of it is that they know, Homeboys at least, know that they have a very comfortable late game. No matter what happens, when 23 minutes when you're at 23 minutes, everything is equalized. There's no concept of gold lead anymore. It's all about just who gets the better cooldown, for example. And during that time, at 23 minutes, the event horizon for Homeboys, they're very comfortable. All they have to do, make sure that Rizal pops the ultimate, get the Fire Mist ultimate up, smash people.
But is it safe right now to say that Warlord with his ultimates was absent this game?
I would say it could have been better. There were times that it was definitely impactful, making sure that Rizal survived.
Okay.
So there were moments that the NetherRealm helped tremendously. I gotta say as well, Nail in this game only did 69.9. Nice. 69.9% damage. It could have been a little bit more. Could have been a little bit more. A boy performed tremendously, but in this game, if we're going to talk about the junglers, it does seem like Chibi was able to get the damage out easier compared to Niall on this Nolan.
But because it's mainly AoE damage for Joy. And also, like I said, it's the late game. It's Joy's dance floor with the electrifying beats. He thrives in that situation. That's why he's able to output the damage. And then Nail is, in the latter portions of the game, you're kind of designated on assassin duties. You have to go for the pickups instead of going head-on against your opponents.
And this is Zorn. Zorn, the way that he plays is he absorbs all the damage.
299,000.
Almost 300,000. And when it reflects on his team. His team didn't take that much punishment. So yes, looking at the KDA, looking at how he plays with the recalls and everything like that, it looks like, what are you doing? But when you look at the numbers, this is what he's doing. He's taking all the punishment.
Well, I have a question for you, Wolf. Would you say that there was a better pick than the Grok? I know that his passive, like near the walls, is good and everything with the crowd control from the side of Team GEEK Fam, but do you think that we could have seen something better than the Grok this game?
Yeah, maybe a Minotaur, perhaps. Cho, Zorn special as well.
Oh.
But I think they might have been foreseeing that they will eventually pick up something like Ixia, which is a good Bruno counter anyways. So they have to double down on protector kind of heroes.
All right.
So yeah, maybe if not the Minotaur, perhaps Cho or yeah, perhaps Cho actually.
I would say Minotaur is pretty good for Zorn, but again, we gotta figure out the reason why they're picking out the heroes, and it really does feel like picking up this Grok, the way that we've seen how they play just now isn't really to make those big plays like a Cho. A Cho, you go in, flicker in, you get a very good pickoff.
Yep.
And I feel like the way that he has been using this Grok is just to waste people's time.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the game time. It's a very long game, and I kind of feel like that's the idea going into this match. As long as you drag it out just a little bit longer, Chibi will scale up,
Yep.
Ryzel will scale up, even Warlord, the NetherRealm, I would say, gets bigger and bigger as the game progresses because, again, the respawn timer gets more and more important. So this Grok is to waste time.
But I want to actually say something that's not showing, and it will not show in any statistic. Do you think that there were mind games? And I think that Team Homeboys are specialized in mind games in terms of like irritating the enemy, getting on their nerves.
Yeah,
Did you think it played a part in it?
I think that always plays a part, you know, and it's a dual-edged sword that if you play so much mind games and you kind of
Use your mind.
Use your mind a lot.
Yeah.
These are mind games.
Either way, looking at these games, it does feel like Homeboys, one of the things that they have definitely improved compared to all of the other tournaments that they have been in is that they are able to hold the game long enough to find a win condition.
Yep.
This is one of those things that in Malaysia, you just try to get a very big snowball happening, use that to your advantage, immediately get map control, and end the game as swiftly as you can.
Yeah.
Being able to hold out the game when it's very apparent during the early as well as the mid stage of the game is not in your favor. You understand what your draft can do and just get to the point where your draft gets good. So I kind of feel like this is a maturity coming in from the Homeboys draft where now we can dissect again and looking at the picks, it looks like they were ready for this situation. They were ready to lose early.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I think especially because they have the wave clear. I think there was a part where we said that it was funny because I know that eventually when we were talking that people might say that I'm biased towards Homeboys because I keep on saying Homeboys from the 30-minute onwards. But that's really what I felt. When the push up top from Geek Fam failed badly for their side and they only got one inhibitor turret, I kind of felt like, okay, this is Homeboy's time because when it comes to the defense, you have the Ixia, very easy defense. You have the Faramis, the more minions there will be, more damage. It means fast wave clear. Then you also have the Grok to kind of control the Lord because of that Guardian's barrier. You make an additional
you can reset the Lord.
You can reset the Lord. There's an additional utility to that in the latter portions of the game. And the problem here for Geek Fam is they have a designated hero for the Ixia. They also have a designated hero for the Joy. Once Baloyski's ultimate is off or once Chibi is not showing in the map, you can see that there's not much that this Ruby can do. And look on this Terizla, he's hard-pressed to catch this Ixia. So it's just a matter of timing. To be fair, he catches the Ixia many times, but the thing is, you don't have the necessary follow-up to go with it.
Yeah, I actually do agree with that because as we discussed earlier on, he might have got the Ixia multiple times, but it wasn't the time that his team needed the ultimate, or he needed or they needed the penalty zone triggered with the flicker, or even without. But I think that Team Geek Fam at some point could have actually got used their advantage more than that. I think that they should have been more aggressive than that because they had that lead for a long time and they had Zorn, let's say, cornered. He cannot do anything with the HP and the defense he has because at some point he was squishy, and you are also playing against really good burst damage in terms of the magical damage. So I think that Geek Fam could have been done much more better with the lead.
100%. 23 minutes, nothing matters anymore. The early game doesn't matter anymore because everybody's just equalized. Naturally, you're gonna have enough gold to max out. So should Geek Fam have done it better? I think it's about ending the game earlier. It should be. That is their win condition, and that's something that they should have done much better. They should have done a much better job at.
So we gotta look at the future, because right now, GEEK fam, looking at the draft is actually a very good draft. What is the change that they have to do after this? Because again, it looked like it was their game to win. It's all about the defense, and I would argue Ixia might get stronger when she's losing, just because you're kind of cornering yourself into the full barrage, right? Like the more of